whoever is number 1 to please approach the table. And could we have 2, 3, and 4, and please come up to the chairs up here.
Aloha e kalahui. O wau mo'i ka wa'akwa, noho au hamakua loa. This Mona is my home. I'm a lineal descendant of this Mona. I can trace my lineage back 21 generations. So when you talk to me about what you're going to give me for using the Mauna against my will, against the will of my kupuna, it doesn't really mean anything to me. Because I also stand here as a steward of our houseless community that I know suffers because of capitalism, because of you guys using our Mauna and our natural resources to benefit your foreign country that keep us as captives. So today I stand here in strong opposition against any more building on top of our Mauna and this ko Hawai'i Pai'aina. We don't need them anymore. So the only question I have for you, when you guys are gonna break them all down and go. So generations after me, no need sit here in the same space I stay. Ku I ka ha'aheo I ko kako aina. Ku I ka ha'aheo I ko kako po'e. E ola mau ka lahui ko Hawai'i Pai'aina. E ola.
Mahalo. Number 2.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Trinette Furtado, and 2 out of the 4 of you there, I know, I've met with in our continued meetings about the diesel fuel spill and the cleanup. And I know that you have heard me tell you in those meetings many times before, no, ask for more food on your plate until you have finished what you have right now. I want you to know, as I've told you in those meetings, that I have deep aloha for you. This is nothing personal, but the positions that you hold and the rationale that is given, that it is opportunity, that it is economic opportunity, positions Aina as something no more than to be bought and sold and used for monetary gain, for trade, for the benefit of others, but not for the benefit of Aina. And I know you know that every single meeting, I tell you that I speak for Aina because it has no voice. You know that this is not a separate issue. You have not finished the cleanup. We are 3+ years into it, and yet more desecration is being asked of us, more to take on in Vau'akua, where you have no business being, lease or not, rent or not. You have no business being there, as I have no business being there, staying there. You're meant to go and get the ike papalua, get the wisdom, and come down from there. Not build parking lots, not build buildings to stay in and stare at the stars and really create more danger for me and for my lahui and for this Aina. Because it is dangerous, your continued presence here in Hawaii. Danger to the Aina danger to our resources, danger to our people. No matter how much you want to paint that your presence here keeps other entities away, it only makes it more dangerous for us. It only makes us more of a target. And that is what I do not want for my Aina. I do not want that for the generations that come after me. I do not want that for those that will have to come by and speak again to stand for Aina. It has been too many decades that you hear from us. And so you will hear anger and you will hear sorrow. And I hope you don't take that personally, because it is not meant like that in any way. Thank you for listening to me.
Mahalo. Number 3.
Mahalo. Aloha nui kako. My name is Kalama Ehu Takahashi. I grew up here up country, Kula, Pukalani, Makua, but now our ohana currently resides out in Lahaina. Just wanted to show up tonight to provide testimony on our mana'o as an ohana for this project. First of all, we are strongly opposed to this project. Yeah, on the grounds of 1, there's no clear evidence of title to the lands that they occupy, including the project area. 2, we are also opposed to the military's historical and continued violence against Oiwi across Hawaii, the Pacific, in the Americas, and around the world. 3, we are opposed to the irreparable damage caused to the environmental and cultural landscapes and resources, which include, but aren't limited to, burial sites and complexes, places of worship and religious sites, traditional wahipana, famed from time immemorial, and these are super integral to us as Hawaiians and our Hawaiian identity and our pilina to this place we call Hawaii our home. And then also finally, critical life-sustaining resources such as aquifers on Koho'olawe, Mauna Kea, and Red Hill with little to no measures of accountability or enforcement whatsoever, with documented effects on human health, on our physical health, on our mental health, on our cultural health generally. Yeah. And then finally, of course, we are opposed to the military's participation and facilitation of crimes against humanity, both foreign and domestic, aka ICE. Domestic terrorism, continued illegal occupation of Hawaii and other Aina Oiwi, yeah, the genocide of the Palestinian people, kidnapping leaders of sovereign nations for economic gains by a feeble-minded, overprivileged, elitist, racist, fascist, pedophile, aka Donald Trump, and his co-conspirators. Yeah, no self-proclaimed science and scientific advancement is more important than the land that we stand on and the people that we live with. Yeah, our ohana, of course. So how can we expect any type of benefit? How can we expect to trust these people with our resources? Yeah, when the research and power of these entities are the research and these projects only seek to further the reach and power of entities like the military that serve these types of dehumanizing, senseless, and deadly imperialist regimes. I oppose this project, I oppose the military, and the continued occupation of Hawaii and all Aina Oiwi. Deoccupy Hawaii, kako o Haleakalā, ola kalahui. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Number 4.
Aloha kumehana kākou. Oli mua ka moku ko uinoa. No ke awawa o ia o mai au. Me ka ma'u o ke kili o opu, o me ka olu o ke kili pohe. My name is Moskwan, and I am from the valley of Io, with the rains of Kili O'opu and the wings of Kili Pohe. You may not remember me, but I remember you. I remember you with your stoic faces and could care less attitude. I must thank you, actually. Your ignorance has pushed me to engage civically. But that is not what we are here to talk about today. Today, we are here because you will not leave us alone. We are here because we put together a draft EIS that boldly states that your 2-year operation will have minimal impacts on native species, species who are already struggling to survive today. This could put these species in the line for extinction. To cite your draft EIS specifically, you did not conduct a survey of the nesting sites of the ua'u on the location of where you plan to put the telescopes. You did, however, receive notice from the people who conduct your research that there were 2 nesting sites of the ua'u where you plan to build telescopes. How is that non-significant impact? Please answer that for me. These are not just a bird or just a plant. These are living, physical representations of our gods, of our ancestral gods. I am by no means an expert, but others in this room are. They fully understand the impacts of this plan. I said this last time, and I will say it again. I stand here, or sit here, because I can no longer walk very far, at 16 years of age, fighting for peace that my kupuna and makua should have received years ago. Know that if you choose to move forward, we will fight, as we have done time and time again until we are deoccupied. You should expect to see me there. Or you can just do what we have all asked. Just leave us alone. Please, clarify me how when you see a room full of kanaka and non-kanaka advocating for you to leave us alone, that you say that this is non-significant impact, that you say that this will not harm us, when so clearly we are telling you that it will. The reason we do not trust you is because you do not listen. The reason we do not trust you is because you have harmed our community time and time again. So how do you say that this time, we're supposed to trust you? How can you make that claim? That is a bold and frankly irresponsible claim to make. Mahalo for the chance to testify today. None of this is personal, and I wish you well.
Mahalo. Could we please have number 5, and then could we please have 6, 7, and 8 come to the chairs? Mahalo.
Aloha.
Aloha.
My name is Carolee Kapikona. I am a Kanaka Oiwi and a Keikioka Aina. In 1893, your government tried to overthrow our queen, but our queen was akamai and astute enough to understand that yielding her authority under protest would prevent the bloodshed of her people. Her people understood what that meant, protested against the annexation, signed the Ku'e petition, and said, ole. 133 years later, descendants of those kupuna, signatories of the Ku'e petition, have numerously upheld that same conviction and say, ole. Ole to your expansion and addition of 7 more telescopes. As a Keikioka it is innate within each of our na'au to malama aina as stewards of the land. Malama aina is not a 9-to-5 job. It is generational kuleana, to care for the land, and the land will care for us. Evidenced in the actions of your government and its military, you know nothing of what being a good steward means. Your bombing of Kaho'olawe and Pohakaloa, the water contamination at Red Hill, and the spill on Haleakalā 3 years ago, which to date has not been entirely cleaned. According to the draft report, it claims these 7 telescopes are for operational safety, national security, and global space assets. I question whose national security. When your government tried to overthrow our queen, that was a threat to the national security of our nation, the Hawaiian Kingdom. The mere existence of the US military here today is a constant threat to our national security. The continued illegal occupation puts a target on our backs by countries who despise what the US stands for. As a keikiokaina, anyone who comes with respect for our culture, our history, our traditions, our aina, and our resources, I welcome you. What I don't welcome is your telescopes desecrating our aina, your lack of respect for the voices of the people who call Maui home. As I stand with my kupuna who signed the Ku'e petition, and for my 7 generations to come, hanaho for the umpteenth time, we say a'ole. I say a'ole to your 7 telescopes.
Mahalo. Go ahead.
Aloha, my name is Alicia. I am not a public speaker, but I felt compelled to come and speak. I am originally from Oahu, that is my moku. I have seen firsthand what the military has done to our islands, and it is not pono. I have been to Koho'olave my senior year, and I have seen firsthand what the military has left and what it has not cleaned up. Enough is enough. We will not compromise our aina for your use anymore. And it is not fair that we have to continue to come up here and tell you no. No is no. And that is our answer. Please, do not ask us to compromise anymore. We have had enough. Aloha.
Mahalo. Number 7.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Chapman. I'm happy to be here with you. I would like to present a different view, a view that does not detract from your view, but may, in fact, stand alone beside it. I attended last night's hearing in Kihei. I listened to your fight. I was moved and impressed. However, your fight is not my fight. My fight is and has been making sure that you can live and continue with your fight. And whatever their sins, that is the fight of these gentlemen sitting before us and in the audience. They are a significant part of making sure that each of us can continue our individual fights and our beliefs. For more than 2 decades, I was involved in the measurement and assessment of nuclear weapons. Okay, thank you. I was involved in the measurement and assessment of nuclear weapons together with the ways of delivering them to destroy our country. This included satellites, ballistic missiles, and the reentry vehicles containing the actual destructive weapon. My focus was on the capabilities of China and the Soviet Union. These 2 countries have now been joined by North Korea. All 3 have the capability to destroy our country in less than 30 minutes. In Hawaii, we face two adversaries that have the capability to kill us. Aside from an officially sanctioned launch of one or more ballistic missiles, there is the real possibility of an accidental launch or by a rogue operator. Even with a single launch, it is likely that the delivery vehicle will carry multiple nuclear warheads. In order to reliably intercept and destroy incoming warheads, we need accurate identification of their characteristics, together with accurate measurements of their trajectory. In this context, that is the role and the value of the AMOS STAR facilities.
Sir, can you please conclude?
30 seconds?
I'm sorry, your time is up.
We're done? All right. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your time and attention.
Thank you. Could we have number 8, please?
Aloha. My name is Kathy McDuff. My purpose tonight is to try to get through to the spiritual soul of those of you making the decisions on the placement of these telescopes. Not the sides of you that are here because you're just giving lip service to the voices of the community through the required 106 process. That side of you has already decided that you want to put these telescopes up on Haleakalā no matter what, because it's convenient to you. That side of you does not see the real impact of these telescopes on the Kanaka Maoli, who are connected to the sacred mountain through their ancestors and their spirituality. Because if you could really see and feel the impact this will have on this sacred place, you would not be participating in this process. You would be looking for a place to put your telescopes that would have the same effect and purpose and that you say you need, that would not irreparably desecrate this very special aina that is so important to the native Hawaiian people. Please put your feet in the feet of the Hawaiian people. They grew up believing that the aina is their living ancestor. To an Hawaiian, the land is your ohana. To Malama, with a focus on the harmony with nature rather than ownership. Aina translate literally to that which feeds, emphasizing the nourishing relationship between the land and its people. Native Hawaiians possess a genealogical connection to the islands, stemming from the belief that they are descended from the land and sea. The sacred summit of Haleakalā is where the kahuna Kilo, a priest who would watch the skies for omens, studied the sky from the summit of Haleakalā. Sacred ceremonies are essential to the spiritual life of Native Hawaiians. The summit where you are trying to put more buildings is at the core of the spirituality of the Kanaka. Your buildings are important to you, but they can be put in another place, albeit one that is less convenient, but they can be built in another location. The Hawaiian people do not have that option. Their spirituality is real. Their connection to the summit of Haleakalā is real. They can't choose to move their sacred aina to another location. Please understand this from a Hawaiian point of view. Depending on your culture and religion, you know of sacred places that you would not even think of destroying. Yet you ask the Hawaiian people to disregard their culture and spirituality and allow you to irreparably destroy their sacred summit. Clearly, you don't understand what you're doing, or you would look for another site to do this work that you say is important to you. I'm asking that you side of you to listen to the people here tonight, hear and feel what they are saying. Listen to them with your heart, not your head. And you will see and feel the truth of what they're trying to tell you. And if you really hear them, you will move this project to a non-sacred location. Mahalo.
Thank you. Number 9.
Aloha.
Aloha.
My name is Kili'i Crab, Kili'i Hana Nui Crab. And Before I begin, I just want to say that something about my shirt. The shirt's been sitting on my shelf since 2019, the Mauna Kea protest, because I knew someone was going to pull this crap again. I knew it, and it's been sitting there in a package waiting for this moment. So thank you. I'm a graduate of Molokai High School, and I went to school at BYU Provo for conservation and biology. And I used that, my education there, not to gain a career, but for moments just like this, and only for this. My career is not in biology, but it's for this, and it's being a steward of our aina. I'm a direct descendant of King Kaumali'i, the last king of Kauai, and also King Kekaulike, also Kahikili, the king of Maui. This is some of my genealogy. I have about 50 names here, each one a generation. 49 others I couldn't fit on this paper. My genealogy is about 1,600 years deep in these islands. And every single one of these were stewards of these islands. And I stand on their shoulders tonight when I say I oppose everything about this proposition. It doesn't make sense. My message is simple. You cannot separate this project from other military projects here on the islands. It's the same. For us, it is the same, no matter what. As benign as you might make out your EIS to be, as benign as this project may seem, we know it's cancer. It's death, it's pestilence, and it's poison. Ever since I was a kid, it was always military opala everywhere, military rubbish. I grew up on Molokai, and diving in our oceans, 20 Mike, 20 millimeter shells, all on our reefs. Mortars everywhere. Everywhere we go hunting, military opala everywhere. Everywhere on these islands. From Kaneohe Bay, Bellows, Barbers Point, Barking Sands, everybody talked about them already. Red Hill, your track record is consistent. You build and you decimate. Always poison. And not just any poison, but poisons on a monumental scale. My message is simple. I stand on the shoulders of my kupuna when I say this. Shame on you. Clean up your mess. Our Mauna is not for American space wars. Mahalo.
Thank you. Number 10. And could we please have 11, 12, and 13 please come into the seats? Thank you.
Ano ai kako. My name is Dane Uluvehil Kalani Maxwell, and I am a resident of Pukalani, 2 minutes down the road, and I am in strong opposition to the proposed AMOS STAR facility. I speak in my personal capacity, shaped by my experiences working with my grandfather in reclaiming and protecting sacred spaces at Pu'ukolekole. After decades of arguing and protesting telescopes and seeking access for Native Hawaiians to Pu'ukolekole, my grandfather made headway in 2006 in securing a space for Kanaka Maoli to reclaim a part of Pu'ukolekole itself. During the removal of an old television station site, he asked me to help and identify a place where we, as Kanaka, through the art of uha humu pohaku, or dry stack masonry, could build an ahu or altar that would be the first steps in reclaiming a space for Kanaka Maoli to claim back just a sacred spot from our pu'u. From that work was born Hinala Anui, an ahu that faces Komohana and bears witness to every setting sun and moon. It stands in balance with its counterpart Pa'elekuai Komoku, which faces Kaikina in the east. Their locations were chosen due to their isolation. When these ahus were built, there was an understanding. We were told that the Mies Observatory would be the site of this Dikis. This obviously is not the case. Dikis now directly towers over Pa'elekuai Komoku and is a constant reminder of our occupiers. Hinala Anui was built with the understanding that the FAA site and location of this proposed project area had been abandoned and had no future. And here we are today, different entities, same occupiers, believing they have the right to encroach and desecrate our sacred places. This traditional cultural property, or TCP, will experience major impacts through sound, visual intrusion, encroachment upon spiritual practices, military infrastructure, given its historical role in the overthrow and continued occupation of Hawaii, does not sit quietly in the background. It looms physically, symbolically over those who are simply trying to practice their culture. The military and country that try to desperately promote the erasure of our culture is the most dangerous impact to Hinala'a Nui and Haleakalā as a whole. One example being, following the 700-gallon diesel spill, and that is still 5 to 7 years in its remediation effort. It's not even clean yet. The noxious gases was so nauseating that it prohibited the regular kupuna who visit and practice in that space from going for over a year. And that wasn't what just stopped them. It was the eha, the hurt that they felt from something so devastating happening in their wahi kupuna, in their sacred space. You ask for more telescopes, but I say, if the mission could not be accomplished with a massive EOS telescope, auxiliary telescopes, and Space Force having the largest footprint on Pukalani, why should we believe that 7 more, as mentioned, tiny telescopes do the trick when you couldn't get it done with that? And in closing, as an exercise, I usually try to provide a solution, and I can only think of one. Like Ka'olave, return this sacred place back to its people. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kuhea Akave Lindsay Maxwell, and I just wanted to say, how do you think our kupuna would feel knowing that you're trying to build stuff on our aina? We're trying to stand up for our aina, and how about we go somewhere that's very sacred to you and start building on it? How would you feel? Well, that's how we feel. So this is why you should stop building on our aina. And I want you to know I'm going to keep protecting my mona for as long as I can, for as long as I live. And I hope you listen to all these voices that are telling you to stop. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Belina Mai, my name is Ihi Kolanahe Maxwell, and I strongly oppose the building of 7 additional telescopes on Haleakalā. We are not against learning or discovery, but we must ask, at what cost? The mountain is not just a laboratory, it is a place of deep cultural, historical, and environmental significance that deserves care and responsibility. Haleakalā is a part of Maui's identity. It holds sacred meaning, historical sites, fragile ecosystems, and species found nowhere else in the world. Adding 7 more telescopes is not simply a scientific decision, it is a permanent land use decision. Construction brings roads, infrastructure, environmental disruption, and visual impacts that cannot be undone. Progress should not mean pushing communities aside or sacrificing cultural landscapes for expansion. Scientific research is important, but so is protecting the places that define who we are. We must ask whether more development is truly necessary or simply easier. True progress is not measured not only by what we discover, but by what we choose to protect. 7 more telescopes may seem small in the scale of the universe, but for Maui and its people, the impact is significant. Let us choose balance, let us choose responsibility, and let us choose to protect Haleakalā. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you. Could we get number 13 to the table, please? And could we please have 14, 15, and 16 in the chairs in the front so we can maximize the time for everyone?
Aloha kako. I'm kind of glad that happened because our guests here are falling asleep. Aloha. Vavahi kalani apuka mai ka hanauna. Ya eya no kako na hanauna. Please be here and attentive listening to us. It's highly offensive you're here in the first place, but zoning out nana I o yanei. Ovau kaliko ka'awamo. I'm here today to let my voice be heard in opposition to continued desecration on Haleakalā, a place of deep sacred connection, our piko, a literal umbilicus connecting us to our kupuna, connecting us to spirit, seen, unseen, here and beyond. It is a place so sacred, some of us Hawaiians will never even visit it in our lifetime. It is a place so sacred, some of us will bind ourselves by way of canoeing our ieve for generations, making a stand, saying out loud that we're connecting ourselves to this place forever till we become dust. Any projects on the Mauna disturb these sites, causing harm to our cultural practice and fragile Vawakua ecosystem. History has shown us repeatedly that you put us in danger. You put us in danger. You are a direct threat to our well-being, head to toe. Since you've been in Hawai'i, a strategic erasure has been attempted, but you have failed. Denial of our language, theft of aina, removing access to our basic human needs, whitewashing our education, creating systems and planting seeds of oppression in our mind, convincing us it is safe to rely and be loved by you. Wala kahapanui o kako ikeia halinei. Let the record share that me, myself, Kaliko Ka'awamo, this Kanaka Maoli, all the others in the room, seen and unseen, stand in opposition to continued desecration on our sacred sites, to our natural resources, to our people, to our connection to place. No additional telescopes, no disturbed burials, no poisoned water, no continued theft of our water, no erasure of our identities. The truth is that this meeting and all these meetings are checkboxes in a process that you seem so confident in continuing anyway, as evidenced by all those pretty posters behind there and those yummy snacks. Our words seem to be falling onto your deaf ears, but our kupuna remind us, ew, tutu. Our kupuna remind us that our voices still matter. So here I am, I'm gonna talk to the people who are listening to me, the young ones. Please ho'olohe pono ya'u. Do not believe the story that joining the military or the Coast Guard will give you a better life. Believe what they show us. Believe what you see on your telephone. Believe how they disregard the sacred and how they disregard human life. They destroy our place in the name of war. And we wouldn't have the need to deflect missiles, as will be repeatedly shared to us today, if the occupation wasn't even here in the first place.
Mahalo.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So, young folks, everybody, tap in. Connect to aina. Connect to language. Learn and ground yourself in deep, deep pono. Unwavering aloha. Even when they aim to hurt us, do not be ugly. Have aloha. Protect our place and our genealogy. Hawaiian or not, this is a call to everyone. Kanaka Maoli or not, learn the stories of this place. Stand for our aina. Stand for our home. Ahiki ika hopeloa o ka aina. Until we are not even here anymore, stand. That is aloha, the kind that we will hold. And so I'm going to leave all of you with this aloha. Not the sweet, fluffy aloha, but that aloha I hope you really hold into your soul. I hope you're really looking at my eyes and you're really feeling my na'au. This mountain is a being to us. It is our
Kalamai.
puna, and
Your
it's where
time.
we come from. My kiki is right after me, so I'm taking his time.
No,
So
I'm
worry.
sorry. We
So,
cannot do that.
Mahalo. My kiki is number 14.
Okay, but
Yeah.
where's your kiki?
Number 14? Waho'ea. Mahalo.
Okay, mahalo.
Aloha oko. My name is Kawai Kimsu, and I very strongly oppose adding. Very strongly oppose adding 7 more tiny telescopes.
Haleakalā isn't just a mountain or an area that you should use for development. It's our sacred land, which makes us who we are. We were never against astronomy. We understand the importance of studying the stars and expanding knowledge. What we are against is the continued desecration of our land. Calling the telescope small does not make the impact small. This is my second meeting in just under 2 years that I have attended. How many more meetings are you gonna have before you actually listen to what we have to say? At what point does our input become real action instead of just another checkbox on an agenda? What is it gonna take for you to hear our voices?
Mahalo.
Aloha mai kako, o wau o Haleakalā ke kona. He pūkana wau ke kulakai opuni o ke kaulike. To you, that means nothing. To us, that means I'm one person that you never strip of our language. First, I'm here to say no. N-O. But no doesn't seem to be enough for you folks, or doesn't seem to be the language that you understand. A'ole to AMOS, but again, you will not hear or understand that word. In your Pledge of Allegiance, it states, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is this what you call justice? You take our kingdom illegally. You take our aina. You tried to take our language. But you will never take our leo. We stand here today, again, fighting the same fight. Why can't you guys hear us? The damage you already did to our aina, not enough. You sit there saying you want to hear our testimony, but you don't seem to be hearing us at all. So hear us now. A'ole. A'ole to AMOS. A'ole to your telescopes. And a'ole to you taking more and more from us, Kanaka Hawai'i. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Number 17.
Aloha, my name is Kalehuanani Pomen. I am currently a junior at Ke Kula Ki'eki'e o Ke Kaulike and one of many Haumana Kaiapuni across Hawai'i Pai'aina. I stand before you today in strong opposition to the construction of 7 additional telescopes on Haleakalā and the continued exploitation of our aina, as if the ongoing illegal occupation of Hawaii is not already enough. I do not expect everyone in this room to fully understand my people or our relationship to this land, but I respectfully urge you to truly listen, not only to me, but to the countless voices of my lahui who have been speaking out for generations. As Kanaka Oiwi, we are raised with a deep understanding of what aina means. It is not just land, it is our ancestor, our foundation, our responsibility. Our kupuna entrusted us with the kuleana to care for and protect it, and that is a responsibility we take seriously. Haleakalā has always been and will always be a sacred place. It embodies the history, spirituality, and identity of our people. It is vahikapu, a place of reverence that deserves protection, not further development. The U.S. Air Force should not proceed with building on Haleakalā. This mountain holds immense significance for our community and for those who came before us. Decisions like this cannot be made while continuing to ignore the voices of local communities, our kupuna, and the future of our lahui. Haleakalā is not a vacant summit or a strategic platform. It is a living symbol of who we are. As Kanaka, we have right to stand against all actions that threaten to desecrate and exploit our sacred homeland. From Kohemala Malama o Kanaloa, from Mokapu to Pohakuloa, from Mauna Kea to Kapuka Ki, we have had enough. Heleo kahea keia. This is a call to all of you to reach out, speak your mind, to ensure that our voices are not only heard, but respected, so that we as Kanaka are respected. We are living in a time where we possess the responsibility and the capacity to realize the change that our kupuna dedicated their lives to achieving. If you eat off this aina and drink its water, you should be fighting to preserve and protect it. I refuse to allow capitalism-driven businessmen to make decisions for our aina when they cannot pronounce its name correctly in the first place. I see a lack of respect, honor, and integrity, but all you've ever wanted is control. But let me ask you this. When the money is gone and the last acre has been developed, what will you do? Your bellies will be empty and you will have no choice but to rely on my people. You have a chance now to stop the desecration before it continues. Our land is not just some property, it is heritage, culture, and our identity. My identity. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Number 18.
Hello. My name is Richard Lucas. I live with my wife Kathy off-grid in Haiku. When I woke up this morning, I was thinking of something. It was April 15th, 2019. Probably don't remember that day specifically, but that was the morning that the world woke up to news that the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris was on fire and was burning to the ground. It was like a gut punch to civilization to think that there was a sacred place that had been standing for almost 900 years was going to be gone. There was panic, there was sadness. People just couldn't wrap their minds around the idea that this was being taken away from us. That cathedral was built in the 1100s and the 1200s and the 1300s. But even 200 years before Notre Dame was built, the Hawaiians were building here. They were building communities. They were building societies. They were building culture. They were building a nation. And for 1,000 years, the Hawaiian culture has led this nation to where we are today. And all of those beliefs, all of those goals that the Hawaiian people set for themselves come to fruition right behind us here in Haleakalā. This was the source of the spirituality of the Hawaiian nation. And now we're looking at a proposal to further desecrate something that's been part of the world for over 1,000 years. Haleakalā is represented, is known worldwide as a sacred place. When Notre Dame Cathedral burned down, it wasn't just Christians who were shocked. It was Jewish people, it was Muslims, it was Buddhists and Hindus, it was indigenous cultures around the world, because Haleakalā was sacred. The Notre Dame Cathedral was sacred to all of these people. And that same sense of sacredness is carried on by Haleakalā. People everywhere in the world recognize this as a sacred place. And now you're at a crossroads. You're at a personal crossroads in your life. My grandfather always told me, if you have to make an important decision, ask yourself, what will you tell your children when they ask you about it? What will you tell your grandchildren? And I'm asking you the same question. When your children ask you, and they will, what did you do when Haleakalā was under attack? What are you going to tell them? Are you going to lie to them? Or are you going to tell them, no, I was part of the group that killed Haleakalā? That's a decision that you're going to have to make. And when you reach my age, your grandchildren will ask you as well. And the decisions that you're making today are not in a vacuum. They're decisions that affect all the people in this room, that will affect your children and your grandchildren. And there's enough shame to go around, and that shame will live with you to the end of your days.
Thank you.
Please do the right thing.
Could we have 19, please, and then have 20, 21, and 22 in the chairs?
Aloha mai kākou o wau o Manawanui Gilbert. I'd like to start by saying that this is not the first time that me and my ohana have stood up here in opposition to your plans for our mana. Your plans are a disrespect to our culture and a disrespect to our wahipana. How many times will it take for our people to stand against you and get it through your mind that what you're doing is not a discovery, it is a form of occupation and oppression? We are not a vessel of your projects. We're not going to let you walk over our mauna and our aina, and we're not going to let you treat us like a state because we're not part of America. My ieve is buried on that Mauna, therefore I am a part of that Mauna. I have a special connection to that Aina, just like the rest of Poe Hawai'i. So I leave you with this. The people of Hawaii will continue to stand up for our Aina until the oppression of the military is no more. So you can try multiple times, but this love we will always resist and stand for our land like our kupuna have and always will. Oh, mahalo.
Mahalo.
Aloha mai kako o wau lolo kupihea. I stand in opposition of the AMOS STAR project. Haleakalā is what we call home. It is our sacred place. The military has destroyed enough Aina in Hawaii, and we do not need any more taken away from us. And we do not allow you to strip away land from us. Your telescopes do not belong on our mauna. And mahalo.
Mahalo.
Aloha. My name is Ko'iawe, and I am from Maui. Just like many other people who are from Maui, we have a strong connection to Haleakalā. My connection is that my ieve was buried on the top of the Mauna. So I think that you should not build yet another telescope on our sacred Mauna and our beloved home. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
I yield the rest of my time to my mom.
Thank you. Velina, my name is Hina Nubo. I'm in strong opposition to this project. I have choke issues with the DEIS, but that's pretty boring, so I'm going to use my written testimony to explain that. What I do want to say right now is that 20 days to read a 516-page document that you guys had 9 months to prepare is completely unfair. Do you guys think that's fair? Okay, then please go to protecthaleakalā.com and sign the petition to extend the public commentary period. Please expect that from us. That will be forthcoming by that date. Yeah, so boring stuff out of the way. That timeline is, that compressed timeline is one of the many ways that this demoralizing process robs people of power and agency. But that's part of the culture of imperialism. So, for this evening, just to add some variety, I've written a short poetic history on the origins of the AMOS STAR mindset and an invitation to a Hawaiian worldview. The AMOS STAR mindset comes from a history and culture of God over man, man over woman, man over nature, dominion over all living things. Light over darkness, mind over matter, landlord over tenant, owner over property. Master over slave, explorer over native, colonizer over colonized, occupier over occupied, manifest destiny over mo'oku auhau. Extraction over equality, corporation over community, profit over people, military over civilian. Bombs over Hiroshima, bombs over Kaho'olawe, bombs over Pohakuloa, bombs over Gaza. Fuel over aquifer, concrete over Ahinahina, telescope over Ua'u, death over life. Space race over sacredness, telescope over Ahu, desecration over harmony, death over life, death over life. This is a culture of death over life. But I invite you, we invite you sincerely to learn about a culture of life over death, our culture of darkness birthing light, of stars giving life, of limukala guarded by akala, of rivers flowing to the ocean, of woman as innovator with the world in her womb, of older brother who feeds, of humans as the last born in a long genealogy of plants and animals that lovingly provide the kahua, the foundation for our very existence, of deep respect and reverence for this family of life, of life over death. We sincerely invite you to choose life over death.
Mahalo.
My child yielded the last of her time to me, so my last comment is to the Maui Economic Development Board. You grow and perpetuate this hevel with your annual AMOS Tech Conference, because while your top sponsor, weapons company Raytheon, pays for scientists at Wailea Beach Resort to sip Mai Tais and talk space wars, their 2,000-pound bombs are dropped by Israelis onto the tents of displaced civilians in a live stream genocide in Gaza. Is that really who you want to take money from? Nui ino kahelva. Nui ino. To the rest of the community, mahalo piha for turning out tonight. Because this is really about us. It's not about them. So we'll see you guys at the next action. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Yeah, 24. 23. Okay. Go ahead. This is the last one before we take our break for the stenographer.
Aloha mai kākou. O Ariana Lawrence ko inoa. O hanau ia au ma Maui. Anoho au ma kula. Aya au I ke kula o Kamehameha. Aya au I ka papa umi kumulua. Aloha everyone. My name is Ariana Lawrence. I was born on Maui and I live in Kula. I go to Kamehameha schools and I'm a senior. I stand for you today to oppose the AMOS telescope project. Haleakalā is the mountain that raised me. The destruction of Haleakalā is a personal attack to our people, our aina, and my future as a youth. I speak on behalf of my peers that we do not trust the US military or federal government agencies to protect our sacred lands. Why should we after all this damage done before? I do not want my future in the same hands that led to the illegal annexation of Hawai'i and the decades of environmental degradation across Hawai'i. Furthermore, your EIS failed to provide title to these lands. There is no middle ground here. Our people knew the power of science. Our people knew the power of science long before anyone else came here. This is just not pono. Haleakalā is not a sacrifice zone. It is not your testing ground, and it is not yours to take. You cannot mitigate sacredness. Sacredness cannot be replaced. Mahalo.
Mahalo. We'll be taking a break for 5 minutes for our interpreters and our stenographer. We'll be back in 5 minutes, starting with number 24. Okay, go ahead.
Aloha mai kākou. O hiri na I ko uinoa, umi kumahau makahiki, a aia au I ka papa e walu ma ke kula o Pi'ilani. Ke kula o Kamehameha. Aloha, my name is Yumi La'i. I'm 14 years old and I go to Kamehameha schools. I'm here today because I stand against the building of the AMOS telescopes. When I was 11, I went up to Haleakalā after the big oil spill from the oil storage tanks at the telescopes. I wanted to look around and see protected plants like ua'u, hina, and silver sword thriving. Instead, I saw dead land and blackened rocks from the oil. The government hasn't done anything to take responsibility since then, and it saddens me because Haleakalā is a Hawaiian sanctuary that should be respected and cared for. I don't trust the government with Hawaiian land because chances they got to prove themselves were used irresponsibly. The impacts on Haleakalā need to be taken seriously because every new project
adds more disturbance and hurt to our aina. My generation deserves a healthy mountain, not one that has been slowly degraded piece by piece. Once these are gone, they're gone forever. So leave us alone and stop any more development on our land. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo. 24.
Aloha mai, this is my second time here. I'm a music teacher at haiku school. I have 150 students. I might teach at the school where your students are. And I'm here because I teach my children a song that talks about the earth is our mother. We must take care of her. It's sacred ground we walk upon with every step we take. And I would be a hypocrite if I didn't show up. So I'm here to say I'm strongly against this project. And I'm sure by now you have certainly heard this enormous fire and passion of this community like no other. And what I want to say is that if you continue to go forward, I mean, I guess it's checking off the boxes, but if you continue to go forward, keiki to kupuna, I said it last time, I was in Mauna Kea. All of these people will show up and put their bodies on the line between the bulldozers and their sacred land. Because this land, it's not just it's their grandmother. It's their mother. It's a relationship. It's their family. It would be as if someone is attacking your family. You will stand in the way to protect. So we are asking you, right now, you get this choice. Are we going to make international headlines with bodies on the line, just like Mauna Kea? Is it going to be that, like Minnesota, that people come out to protect and that people die, like happened in Kaho'olawe? That's the only way we got Kaho'olawe back, is because somebody had to die. Because I'm pretty sure that is what is going to happen. You see the amount of fire here, and everybody is holding back their fire. They are containing their fire, but they will show up. So I'm asking you, please, we want to be safe. We are grateful for your intention to protect us, but you can move this somewhere else. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Velina mai me ke aloha e na pua a Maui nui a kama o hina te a ko uinoa noho au ma apueo I ke aina kuli'i a Haleakalā. Your only option is alternative 3, the no development option, because this is the only option that truly protects what is sacred. I grew up watching my mom bring us to meetings like this. I watched her lose time with her own kids because she felt she had no choice but to fight to protect our sacred places. That should never be a child's reality. When I grow up, I don't want to be dragging my own kids to meeting just to beg decision makers to protect what should already have the highest protections. Haleakalā is our wauakua. The EIS fails to adequately address cumulative impacts. The reality that Haleakalā has already endured decades of development and disturbance, ignoring that history ignores the truth. And we do not trust the government because that trust was broken when our lands were illegally taken from our Hawaiian kingdom. That history is not in the past for us. You cannot mitigate sacredness. Kiko Pau, mahalo nui.
Mahalo. Okay, number 26.
You know, I think that there are places that we're raised, and then there are the places that raise us. And my ohana traces back generations. The Kamaka's in Kuali, Carvalho's in Paia, my mother born in Keokea. and us now living in Waiahuli. So each person that has spoken so far has a line of their lineage. We're not here alone. This moment isn't just happening. Every decision, every action of those who have come before us has led into this moment. And I ask you, what is it that we decide? Because my boys are here, their children, and their children's children. When history looks back at this moment, what is it that's going to be written about you, about us? More than just a dad, I also professionally run a nonprofit that does environmental stewardship. And I ask myself, when the diesel spilled, if that was on the lands that I do Aina work on, what would have happened to me? What would have happened to our organization? Does this mean to say that the military is held to a lower standard than those of us in community? Because it seems that way. We stand here in a room filled with people, unified in voice, here together with a resounding message of no. When the cost of intelligence comes at the price of wisdom, I stand in opposition. When the economies of a large occupying nation infringe upon the ecologies of the people of this Aina, we stand here in opposition. I implore you to heed these messages, because as has been said, if the messages and the words are not taken into account, our actions will follow. And to everyone here, mahalo for showing up in force. Let's do this.
Mahalo. Could you put your name on the record, please? So for the record, sorry. Oh, you could just say it in the mic. Your name.
Kiola Maltengan.
Thank you. Number 27. What number are you? 29. Okay, 27.
Kalamai kupuna. Aloha kako.
Aloha.
My name is Francine Arona, known as Anti-Mopsy Protect Paia. I am in great opposition for building the telescopes up on Haleakalā facility. Aule. What is the meaning of sacred? We the people who you refer to as Native Hawaiians, born on this Aina, were brought up and referred to as Americans. You continue to abuse our lifestyle and sacred land. You continue to rob us of our heritage instilled in us by our kupuna. Haleakalā is the Va'akua, the realm of the gods. It is Vahikapu, a sacred place indicating limited human presence to be approached with reverence, conducted in a ceremonial respect, caring, loving manner. This sacred place is deemed appropriate only for those who bear kuleana. Kuleana is a privilege, one not taken for granted or lightly. It is a profound responsibility to and for Haleakalā. We breathe the Aina that we live on. We are cleansed by the waters that surround us, and we are protected by the mauna that provides us nourishment and healing. We look to the elements that surround us, our gods and goddesses. How many of our sacred mountains are you going to destroy to master the universe? Okay. You have reached out to the community to hear the people of Maui and all of our cousins across the sea. What do you do when you have 100% of opposition against AMOS STAR? Will our voices matter to the government who continues to desecrate our home? I can write 100 pages of how much destruction you have done and continue to do to our lands and our environment, but I'll leave it to the testifiers. Keakua continue to walk with you in your decisions for the people of Hawaii. May he grant us, the people, strength, peace, and understanding in our process of imposition for our sacred Haleakalā. My aunt was a master sergeant in the Air Force. And if she was alive today, she would say to you, shame on you. Shame, shame on you. Mahalo so much.
Mahalo, Auntie.
Aloha mai kākou, e nā Hawai'i, nā mea e kupa a mau nei, nā mea e kupa a mau nei, no ke aloha, no ka pono o ko kākou aina aloha. O ia. First, o wau o Kapulani Antonio. First, I would like to say to the representatives of the United States military, you do not belong here. You have come into our home unwelcomed. You have overstayed your welcome. Well, unwelcome. You have wrecked the joint, and now you have the audacity to ask us if you can wreck it some more. Who does that? A bully. And you do that in the name of national security, national defense. Why do you need national defense? Because you never learned how to play nicely with our friends in the rest of the world. To quote the original Aloha Aina, George Helm, national defense lies in the spirit of the people, in the heart of the people. So this right here is our national defense. And lastly, I would like to say that I am extremely insulted by the name AMOS STAR Project. AMOS STAR Cook was a missionary who taught at the Chief's Children's School. He beat our chiefs into submission, or he tried. You will not beat us into submission. We will never submit to telescopes on our Mauna Haleakalā. We will never submit to the United States military, and we will never submit to the continued desecration of our Aina and to the oppression of our people. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
And just for a reminder, you have 3 minutes. At 2 minutes and 30, I put my hand up just as a signal, okay? Okay, mahalo, go ahead.
Aloha mai kākou, o wau ho'okupa a ka hana mai ka i ke kona, ke keikia ke neke ke kona lawa o Shero Kuanani. He haumana wau ma ke kula kaiapuni o ke kaulike, no wailuku maui mai au. Hello, my name is Ho'okupa a ka hana mai ka i ke kona. I am the son of Keneke ke kona and Shero Kuanani. I am a student in the Hawaiian immersion program at King Kekolike High School, right up the road. And I am from Wailuku. My Mauna is Mauna Kahalawai. But my kupuna will always be the Aina, and especially our tutu Haleakalā. Let me start you guys with some Hawaiian vocabulary, okay? Haleakalā, do you guys know the meaning of that? What is the meaning of Haleakalā? House of the sun, okay. So, let me ask you guys this. When you guys go to a relative's house, do you guys go destroy the wall, sit on their couch without asking, do all this kind of thing, you know, clog their toilet, and then you guys just leave it? Do you guys go to your guys' aunties, uncles, tutu's house and do that?
So why you do it on our house? How come you guys gotta do it on the sun's holiday? Why is it that it's bad that we'll go do that and it's bad, but it's okay to do it on the house of the sun? That is what's bad. Another thing, we should not be limiting our voices to 3 minutes. It isn't, that's terrible. If we have to come over here at night, okay, I'm supposed to be at hula right now, but I'm over here testifying for our amazing Mauna, okay? 3 years ago, the military accidentally spilled 700 gallons of fuel on our sacred Mauna. Still not cleaned up to this day. Where does that fuel go? Into our aquifer. Where does the aquifer go? Into the rivers. The rivers is what is feeding us. Vai kavai. Vai is sacred to us. Vai gives us life. And now, 3 years later, there is still yet fuel in our aquifers, poisoning us, just like at Red Hill. Just like at Red Hill. And I will say this, our highest point should be the aina, not the telescope. Why is the telescopes higher than our Mauna? Okay? Because Haleakalā, Mauna Kea, all of these kuahivis connect us between Wakea and Papahano Moku. When you are building those telescopes, you are disconnecting us from our kupuna. You are disconnecting us from who we came from. Not only are you desecrating our kuahivi, Kaho'olawe is connected to Haleakalā. Straight up connected. You can turn that off because I'm not done. I am not done.
Kalamai.
I am not done.
Kalamai.
Okay? Kapua Mauna Kea, Kapua Mauna Loa, Kapua Hualalai, Kapua Waimea, Kapua Haleakalā, Kapua Mauna Kahalawai, Kapua Pohakuloa, Kapua Kamako, Mauna Loa, Ka'ala, Ko'olau, Wai Ale Ale, Pani Au, Kapua Hawai'i Pai Aina. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Right on, brother. Aloha mai kākou. Owau o Lokahi Antonio. My name is Lokahi Antonio. I am a kanaka of this paeaina. I want to talk to you. I don't like to talk to them. They're always listening, but they don't listen. I'd rather talk to us. And you know, I did not prepare any kind of speech. I didn't get anything ready, but I felt compelled to come out tonight to speak out of frustration and irritation. My wife, who just spoke right before the brother, we have been doing this for 40 years. 40 years. We get brothers and sisters in this room who've been doing it longer than that. We all seen. We put our words together, we code switch, we talk nice English, we get our reasoning, we justify why it's wrong, why we right, we talk in our own level, we do everything. We write poetry, we write songs, we do this, we do that. But they don't care. They're not listening. How long we gotta do this? We've seen a kupuna do this. We've seen a makua do this. We do this. Now a kiki doing this. We listen to a mo'opuna testify. And now we're watching the little ones over there run on the floor. Because when they get big, they're going to do this too. We're not going to stop. We're not going to go away. We're not going to go away until they go away.
Mahalo. Number 31. Okay, could we have 32, 33, and 34 please come up on the chairs so we can make sure we maximize everyone who wants to testify?
Check, check. Aloha, everybody. O makana Haleakalā o Akalani ko uinoa. My name is Makena. I am a Lahaina descendant, a fire survivor, an alumni of Kinke Kaulike. I have picked up the dead bodies of our kupuna in the middle of the night as a last responder for our funeral homes. And I am now a farmer at O'o on the slopes of Haleakalā. And I have some questions for you guys. Well, really just one. Are you a fucking rapist? Are you? Because we said no and you keep fucking going. That's what rapists do. And no fucking wonder because you take orders from them.
Kalamai, can you?
Kalamai, I'm sorry.
Let's be
I'm sorry my
respectful.
words offend your, because of your actions. I'm sorry my words offend. Your actions offend. No means no, a'ole means a'ole. And this is for, and only for the lahui. And I want to say that because of a couple people here tonight, us artists of the Hawaiian Islands, we matter, our voices matter. We've won the Hokus together. That's right, Gracie. And this is for the lahui. Joe, could I get a little reverb? I'm just kidding. All right. Evelo malo aku hai aloha ikanu o kalevalanila ai maluhia nona kao kao e o Hawai'i kuaina aloha e ku'ulahuie Vivole, kukanaka e, oni pa'amau, ua mau ke o ka aina I ka pono, ua mau ke o ka aina I ka pono. The life of the land is perpetuated under what? Military boots? What? Huh? You can change your expressions. It's okay. I'm a human being and I know you are too. So I reckon you tap in with that and feel it. 12 days ago, I had my entire reproductive system ripped out of my body because I had a disease for 15 years that was killing me. I will never be able to biologically continue my Hawaiian ancestry, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to sing. I'm here to speak truth to power because artists are supposed to reflect the times. That's right. Thank you.
Mahalo. Number 32.
Aloha. Noelani Peresa Ko'uinoa, Nohoao Ma Pu'ali Komohana. My name is Noelani Peresa. I am 9th generation Kanaka Maoli o Maui. My parents are retired military, so I know firsthand the lasting effects of the U.S. military's presence, including the removal from my aina hanao, the disconnection from my ohana, PTSD, brainwashing, domestic violence, and ancestral trauma. This is my testimony in opposition of this project. Haleakalā is sacred. Through our genealogy, Kanaka Maoli can trace our descendancy to Akua and Haleakalā. Presents documented here include Pele, Lono, Kamohuali'i, and Hina. We have multiple structures, features, and spaces identified through our mo'olelo for centuries that have been named in earlier testimony and can be identified on your site maps. Haleakalā is sacred, most specifically her summit, our kupuna celebrated, sacrificed, and laid to rest facing Haleakalā. The legal interests of Kanaka Maoli hold historic precedence, and our rights to protect our cultural connection, practice traditional aloha aina, and protect our iwi kupuna are written in the Kanawai, the Hawaii state constitution, and codified in your laws and recognized by the United States Department of Interior. Haleakalā is sacred. Her summit is the top of our aquifer. Her cinders collect and distribute life-giving water throughout East Maui, while also feeding our island's deep water source and assisting with a healthy water cycle. For the record, you have heard the testimony of many before me as we consistently state our undeniable knowledge that without a doubt our mana Haleakalā, especially her summit, is sacred to Kanaka Maoli and must be protected from any current, further, and future desecration. You are aware of our connection and have documented our Kanaka Maoli inoa, naming the features and regions of this wahikapu. You're aware of the ahu mauna located at the summit that reflect the fact that you desecrate our space with the presence of all current structures. National Park and state signage of this place shares the importance and sacred status of this summit and documents acknowledge accountability. You are aware of the immediate responsibility to clean up the pollution caused by the 700-gallon fuel spill and to remove all structures as their presence continues to desecrate our culturally significant sacred place and an entrance to our protected watersheds. Our community, our people, past, present, and future say no. We accept and hold the immense responsibility of protecting our mana Haleakalā. This is our aina. We reject your draft EIS and we strongly oppose the AMOS project. No building on our mauna.
Mahalo. 33.
Thank you, Joss.
As if I'm not short enough, I'm going to sit.
Okay, thank you, Auntie Joss.
My name is Jocelyn Casa, also known as Auntie. Why are you here? January 16, 1893, Admiral Stevens caused American troops to place their boots on the ground on a peaceful nation, ko Hawai'i Pai'aina. In my father's house, you remove your footwear upon entering our home. You still have your boots on. My Heavenly Father says, knock, the door will open. You kick the door in with your boots. Ask and you shall receive. Be careful what you ask for. You may receive a no. But are you asking or telling us? In 1993, 100 years of that invasion, America said they were sorry. And what happened was illegal and still is. Show me how it became legal. We have a treaty of commerce and peace. We are a neutral nation. You come to offer 7 more telescopes on Haleakalā, but you have not cleaned your plate filled with diesel fuel spilt on Haleakalā. In my father's house, you clean your plate first before you can consider asking for more. America, a foreign nation to Hawaii, called for the necessity to take another country, ko Hawai'i Pai'aina, for fueling due to the Spanish-American War, aka national defense. Sound familiar for today's discussion? Same story. 133 years later, we now know it was not the truth, but had ulterior motives. We cannot wait 100 years, 133 years, not even one day, to answer the question, why are you here? Maybe if you came clean, we may find it important that you need to be here, like what that gentleman earlier had presented, that there is some kind of danger that we know nothing about. How unfair of you to keep that secret from us. But instead, we have no clue. And we have to trust you. We have to trust you. You can come selling a bag of goods, but truth be told, I don't believe it. So the issue is not what you're here for and why we don't want you. The question is, why are you here? It is a question for our nation, ko Hawai'i Pai'aina's national defense, and we deserve to know. In closing, I decline your offer to contract. I want to notify you that I do not consent, nor do I give consent to any further military or civilian advancement on Haleakalā. I request you cease further action on this matter, and I will submit to you the apology that your country gave us and the proof that it is illegal.
Mahalo. Number 34.
Aloha nui e ku'ulahu I kanaka. O wau no o kaena elaban manua. I'm not here to cry, shout, or share aloha with you because I know from my experience you don't deserve my aloha. You act receptive, and as soon as the cameras are off, you'll continue your attack on my people, culture, and sacred spaces. So just as our kupuna signed the Ku'e petition to stand in opposition to the illegal overthrow of our kingdom, my ohana stands here still signing our names in opposition to the continued occupation and attacks on our people, culture, and sacred spaces. Complete the EIS, follow Hawai'i Environmental Policy Act, complete the diesel cleanup on Haleakalā, complete Koho'olave cleanup, fund cultural and language revitalization programs needed due to your people's forcefully beating the language and culture out of little boys and little girls who are now our grandparents. Fund ahupua revitalization, forest restoration, local i'a restoration, protect native water rights, and much more. All of these things needed due to your continued forceful actions. Only then, maybe you'll be close to the door and close enough to knock and ask if you can come in. I don't know if anybody else caught. Somebody up here is comment earlier about Starlink and our people of Lahaina. Using the destruction of Lahaina, home to our brothers and sisters, as a means to forward your project is, excuse my language, Kiki, is fucking disgusting. That is disgusting. Where you was? Where you was? Exactly, nowhere. Pilau. E nā kama, e ku'umau mo'o ka wā e hiki mai ana. Mai ha'awi pio. E kumau, e noke mau. Long live the Hawaiian Kingdom. Wola!
Mahalo. Number 35. Could we ask 36, 37, and 38 to come up so we can continue and get as many people as possible through?
Aloha nui kākou. O Santia mi ala Shiba Nash ko ui noa piha. No kihe maui mai au, ua hanau ia, hanai ia vau, mau maui. Mai ka pai aina o Yapana, Ilelani ko umau kupuna. I am a child of Maui. I was shaped by the elemental forces and the indigenous values of this place. Haleakalā is our sacred mauna, and I'm in strong opposition against Air Force Maui optical and supercomputing site. I am here as a descendant of survivors of the Tokyo air raid, the most destructive air raid in human history. when 100,000 people were killed in one night and 1 million were left homeless by the U.S. Air Force in 1945. As Haunani K. Trask says, the United States of America is a death country. It's a death country. Trauma lives in our bodies and is passed down over generations, and we won't be silent. The continued militarization of Aina here in illegally occupied Hawaii does not protect our communities. It puts a target on our backs. The track record of the military in Pohakuloa, Kaho'olawe, Pu'uloa, Makua would plainly suggest that the proposed telescopes will poison food and water systems for generations, desecrate Vahipana, limit access for cultural practices, and harm biodiversity. The US military has never practiced long-term care, reciprocity, respect for Ike Hawaii. My mentor, Auntie Joan Lander of Namakoka Aina, documented with her partner, Uncle Puhi Pau, countless Hawaiian land and water rights struggles in hundreds of hearings since the 70s, most of the time opposing the same entity, the US military. Hawaiians and allies have been at this for years, for generations. The work, it never ends. Auntie Joan often asks this question of all who call Hawaii home. Who is your loyalty to? Is it to the United States government? Or is it to Hawaii? What side of history do you stand? Until the very last Aloha Aina, people of place, people who love Haleakalā, we won't stop fighting to free Hawaii, to demilitarize Hawaii, deoccupy Hawaii. Hear our truth, do what's right. Do it, if not for you, for your children, for your children's children. What happens here affects the world.
Your time is expired.
A'ole AMOS, aloha aina, aloha aina.
Thank you. Oh, you can put it right there. Mahalo. 35. Number 35. Number 36.
Aloha mai kākou. O wau no o Isaac Kaiewe Kainoa ho Delanu. No kihe puka'a mai au. I was worried I was going to be the one that was going to swear tonight, but somebody beat me to it. We'll talk. But I am from Kihei. I was born and raised from birth to adulthood, the slopes of Haleakalā. I am physically and spiritually connected to that mauna. When hot up there, hot down Kihei. When rain, rain down Kihei. And that's the physical aspect of it. The spiritual connection I have is when my mauna hurt, I hurt. And when it hurts due to natural reasons, cannot do nothing about it. But when there's intentional hurt, like what these folks is proposing to do, that's when I come out of the dark. You need one telescope to identify threats. You guys no need nothing. I can do that for you right now. Everybody that opposed the telescopes, raise your hand. Okay, fine. Everybody that not raising a hand, that's the threat. Good. And if you like, later we can go take a drive throughout the island. I can point out some more threats, like the people stealing the water, mahipon, whatever, all these people. Kalama, you're probably gonna say some stuff that might hurt your feelings. You're welcome to question me later about it, but that's just how I am. You guys hurt my mauna, you guys hurt something that is connected to me spiritually. I will say what I gotta say. Not because I have a personal interest, it's because it's my keiki. I've raised my keiki on this island with this mauna to our back. Now is to our front. Every morning we wake up, that's the first thing we see. You know, the military, you guys, every time you guys come, you guys just make us sick. You know, physically, mentally. Hawaiians, kanaka go fight wars, they come back. They're dealing with PTSD, and you guys do nothing about it. You guys are like that lady in the bus or in one small confined area coughing all over everybody with no regard to their health and to their space. So with that being said, I'll leave you with this. Don't cough near. Don't near cough. Far cough. All the way over there. Oya vale no. Wow.
Mahalo. Number 37. 36. Oh, you never stand up. Okay.
Aloha o'au oliho. Haleakalā is not just land, it is a part of us as a lahui, a sacred space and a home to life found nowhere else. When we protest Haleakalā, we protest culture, history, and the future. Mahalo.
Aloha o Leolani Ko'inoa no kula mayau a o Haleakalā Ko'umana. I've been up to Haleakalā and it doesn't feel like just a mountain or an empty piece of land. It feels sacred. It is where I feel my kupuna are most present. When I heard about the U.S. military building 7 more telescopes, it honestly hurt. It feels like our voices don't matter. And I know as much as we say it and it doesn't matter to you guys, but this area is considered the Vawakua for us Kanaka. This mountain is our connection to the kupuna and the akua. What if we decided to build on places that are sacred to you, like Washington National Cathedral, Arlington National Cemetery, or Old North Church, and many more other sacred sites? People would be upset. They would say that those places deserve respect, and that's all we're asking for too. Respect our mauna, respect our culture, and respect our kupuna. Mahalo for listening.
Mahalo. Number 37.
Aloha mai kako, o wau mikiala, pua'a Freitas. You know, I know you guys don't represent the United States military as a whole, and you're all unique individuals, and you're just here, you know, taking it from all of us, but you know, I stand with the overwhelming majority of the people that you heard tonight and the people across the Pai'aina. I strongly oppose this project. No more development on Haleakalā and no more telescopes. The U.S. military has and continues to perpetuate trauma on our lands, our resources, and our people. Every single kanaka in this room carries generational trauma within us, all stemming from the U.S. military. It is as if you folks host these sessions to check a box, a way for people to vent, a way to show that you're listening, and if you genuinely wanted to understand us and make changes or heed the voices of the people. Your glamorized plans of jobs, local contracts, money, security, just showcases the mentality of the pimps that you are. It may sound good to you, but we don't want it. Your track record speaks volumes. The most advanced military in the world. Where were you on August 8, 2023, August 9, 2023? The atrocities the United States military has and continues to unleash overseas and against its own people. We need protection from you. Kaho'olawe, Red Hill, ICE, aiding nuclear bombs in Hiroshima, the Marshall Islands, all for the sake of science and testing your nuclear capabilities. Aiding a genocide in Palestine. We're not your guinea pigs. Hawaii is the most beautiful place on earth. Her natural beauty, abundant resources, fertile soil all year growing season, the list goes on. It's no surprise she produced a thriving kingdom with the most beautiful people, a culture rich in sciences, navigation, food production systems, all that sustained a population upwards of 1 million. Growing up here, it's ingrained in us to move through all spaces and places with respect, aloha, don't be maha'oi, and treat everyone to the utmost. As Kanaka, we hardly go to Haleakalā or the summit. Maybe because our parents' cars couldn't make it up there, but we know it's a place that you go with intention, ceremony, pule, pay respect to your ancestors. But now when we go up there, it's littered with tourists, littered with telescopes. Your very presence continues to and has made us targets. We keep telling you no, and you continue to disregard our pleas. No is no. Stop bullying us. You don't need telescopes, you need therapy. Stop, I'm wrapping up. Stop projecting your insecurities, fear-mongering, and your military presence on us in Hawaii. Take a strong look in the mirror and learn how to move through the world with grace, respect, and aloha. Mahalo.
Number 38. Number 38. Okay, number 39. 40.
Aloha, my name is Stacy Moniz.
Aloha.
I live right here down the street in Pukalani, and I also did not prepare a speech in advance, but I have been noticing a few things that I wanted to share. And I feel really bad because I feel like this really is a practice in futility, that this is a box, that people are sharing like their most wisdom, generations of knowledge, and it really at the end of the day isn't going to mean anything. I also feel frustrated, like someone said, that you limit the time that people have to share this deep pain and anger and frustration that goes generations, that are justified and completely makes sense, like it's visceral. I am not Hawaiian. My ancestors came from Japan and Portugal in the late 1800s. So I have ancestors buried in Sand Hills, and I now have 2 generations after me, my kids, my grandkids. So I am here because I believe I need to stand up to protect sacred spaces. But I also feel very frustrated that this isn't going to be what happens, that you sit here and nod and smile, and then have the nerve to be offended by somebody dropping an F-bomb. To be honest, I'm surprised that there aren't more people dropping F-bombs. The rage that I'm feeling, and I am just one person, I'm surprised there aren't more people swearing, screaming, but we've learned how to interact or we'll get kicked out, so we've learned how to speak this language of, What's unfortunate, I feel, is that this is going to continue on. Y'all have put an awful lot of money into this, and I just want you to know that last night there were a lot of people at the hearing. Tonight there's a lot more. Every step you take forward, this group will grow, and you will not succeed. So you might as well just stop right now, save your money, and take that someplace else and put this someplace else, because you're not going to win. We've seen this on Mauna Kea, here on Maui. We're going to do everything we can to stop this from happening. So if I didn't mention it, I oppose this project. Mahalo.
Mahalo. What number are you? Okay. 40. Oh, that was 40. Okay, sorry. 41.
Aloha. My name is Sarah Tekula. My family has been privileged to steward land in Upper Kula on the slopes of Haleakalā for more than 20 years. In that time, we have planted tens of thousands of native trees. We have removed hundreds of thousands of tons of invasive species from these slopes. We work in the soil. We hike the ridge lines. We watch the clouds gather and disperse. We observe the weather every day, when the trades shift, when mist settles into the forest, when the mountain holds moisture, and when it releases it. Haleakalā is not abstract to us. It is lived experience. Through my learning with Halau'ohi'a and through a foundational document called Kiho'iho'i Kanawai, which restores the laws that maintain balance in an island system, I have learned to understand the mountain not just as land, but as the spine of the island. The Kuahivi, the mountain summit, is where heaven and earth meet. It attracts the great clouds that gestate into rainfall. These are elemental processes we cannot replicate. They are not symbolic. They are hydrological reality. The summit feeds the East Maui watershed, the largest water-producing watershed on this island. What happens there moves through the soil, into aquifers, and eventually into the water that sustains communities below. That is why contamination at the summit is not a small matter. In January 2023, when more than 700 gallons of diesel fuel spilled at the Maui Space Surveillance Complex, I stood among the kia'i who went up there. I heard the promises that remediation would go above and beyond. And 3 years later, there is still no clear closure. That spill was not an act of nature, it was negligence. And the negligence continues. And now we are being asked to consider expansion before unresolved contamination is fully addressed, before consultation deficiencies are corrected, and after a redesign that avoided state environmental review while remaining entirely within the conservation district. The framework I have learned reminds us that every action requires equivalent exchange. If we take from a place of such significance, we must give back in proportion. Stewardship requires sweat, humility, and generational commitment, not procedural shortcuts.
Mahalo, can you please submit the rest of your testimony in writing, and please submit the entire statement. That plus this oral testimony will be on the record.
Okay, do you have more to say?
Yes, your time is up, ma'am.
Okay, you took some time to do that.
Thank you. Number 42.
Aloha, my name is Erin Marquez. I come to you today as a local. I was born and raised on Oahu. I also come with a unique perspective as a veteran and a civil servant. I am a federal worker. I know your words. I know the things you say because I've been here. I joined the Army in 2017, the Hawai'i Army National Guard, to serve my community. But what did I get? You sent us to Iraq. I was there for a year and almost 6 months, from 2004 to 2006. The only people who hurt me were my own people. And I've never talked about this publicly, but they used my body No didn't mean no. And you come to us and you tell us, oh, we offer you things. We offer you this. We offer you that. I'm also Puerto Rican. My people were destroyed nearly by Christopher Columbus, who came offering the same goodie bags. So I know this game. You gave us this after 9/11, and you sent us away. Our bodies broke. I had people who look like you tell me, smile more, birds like you. And you expect me to believe that you have genuine intentions here. I don't believe you because I know this game. And to my lahui, watch what they do on TV. Watch ICE. They target smaller areas to look like more than they are. Do not be afraid of these people. You saw what happened on Mauna Kea. Stand up and don't let these people tell you what's what. Because you all have power. You all have power. Okay? And to you, I tell you, think about what you do because they do have real world consequences. And as I stood there as a medic and a patient administrator taking care of our own soldiers too, old people with their legs blown up, little kids without shoes, what did the US military do for them? Nothing. What do you do for us? You do nothing. And I don't believe you. I don't have aloha for you. And I understand you're just people and maybe you got to do the job. But I see what happens when the birds go back to the boardroom, when the officers go back to the boardroom. I remember when Mauna Kea happened, soldiers were talking about being excited to go up there and get involved in the ruckus. For what? For violence. And you know it happens. I know you have seen it. So don't give us lines. Don't give us lines. Okay? That's all I have to say.
Mahalo. Number 43.
Aloha, my name is Summer Star. I'm born and raised in Makawao. I kako'o all those who spoke before and want to remind us that priceless Ike wisdom, kilo observations is being put on the record right now. And we can mahalo ourselves for that, for showing up. I stand in strong opposition to the AMOS STAR facility. I'm a descendant of the US military. I am a daughter of the American Revolution. My family has commanders and colonels in the Navy and Air Force. My grandfather was a decorated Navy ace. He was in the desert with Chuck Yeager pulling straws to see who would be the one to break the sound barrier, and Chuck won. He left home as a child because his military father was an alcoholic and abusive, because war does that to people. He rode the trains and made it into Annapolis. Yeah, take a note of that. Where he went ahead and succeeded in the US military, which clearly I have mixed emotions on, right? He died while testing a B-52. He plummeted to Earth and left behind 3 daughters. My mother was the eldest and a widow. And they were kicked off base shortly after because they were of no use anymore. They didn't have his body for labor and war. And so the intergenerational trauma persisted despite his best efforts to break the curse of the US military from his father. He died when my mother was 13, and the trauma continued. That's just mom's side. This is a pattern of exploitation, intergenerational trauma, and broken promises from American entities. I want to remind you that your emperor has no clothes. So be mindful of that for yourselves and your own families, right? As you're planning for your futures. As an academic, my first master's was in Ho'okele, Hawaiian Celestial Navigation. It's offensive what you're saying. My second master's was in environmental law and policy. It's offensive what you're doing. My children are born at home on the slopes of Haleakalā. They're native Hawaiian. We were on Mauna Kea. We've been on Haleakalā, and we're not going anywhere. And I implore you, for the safety of yourselves, your children, and your descendants, to divorce yourselves from the U.S. imperial machine that is trying to assert itself right now on this Mauna. And it's not going to happen. Save yourselves, because it's not going to happen.
Mahalo. Number 44. Could we have 45, 46, 47, and 48 please come up?
My name is Matthew Mann, a longtime upcountry resident. This is all I know upcountry, and Haleakalā is source. So here we are tonight. You are seen. I think all of us see you. It almost seems like we come here as a formality, but perhaps not. So the U.S. military has a long history of broken treaties, false promises, and lies. So here we stand again with a familiar playbook. And the playbook is, this is for your own good, it's for your own security. How many here can remember what it felt like when Kaho'olawe was bombed? How many could feel it here in Pukalani? How many remember when they wanted to build a missile defense shield on Haleakalā? How many? It's called Star Wars. And here we are again. It's a familiar playbook. I stand in opposition to this project, which in name itself is defamatory. Again, telegraphed, like a bully, like a rapist. I stand in opposition to the very thought of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. 45. Number 45. Okay. 46.
Aloha. O wauna ne ori. No mai ko wana parekuwa he. I come to you as a Hawaiian. I did not write a speech, but I grew up in the lepo, the dirt of the tar patch, and we loved it. I grew up taking from the mountain, harvesting sweet guava and teeth. I've put the bones of our people back in Honolulu. I have grown up with two men. I'll go to school loyal. I'll go Charlie Maxwell. If they was here tonight, be a different story. Be a different story. But I tell you, there is bones in Haleakalā. And as I was there, sometimes silence rages. And for a Hawaiian to sit down in silence and think, that shows the true heart of a person is to be able to think Hawaiian. But when I looked up and I saw the telescopes, and yet they had put the Evie back in the case, it's a very sad thing. Very sad thing. I stand in opposition to this project. Prioritize our education, so it's on the tube. Because for whatever days that I have on this earth, they will have to either arrest me, run me over with a truck. Excuse my speech, my slurring. But they'll have to arrest me or run me over with a truck. But I am there. In the latest movie of Jason Momoa, he says, Karakawahine system. Are you in or are you out? I'm in. I'm in. Thank you very much.
Mahalo.
Do we have 47? Aloha. Hi, Uncle.
You know, my back was going to be to a lot of you. I was really wrestling with.
Sir, could you grab the microphone?
No, I will when I start. Thank you, sir. I agree with my friend Lokahi. You know, I'm here for you folks. You are my community, but they need to be educated. So I can face that. Pardon my back.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Oh, ike ha'alulu. Ano ai? My name is Kiope Raymond. I'm president of Kilo Kilo Haleakalā, but tonight I'm testifying as an individual. I stand in opposition to the proposed AMOS STAR telescope array. It's the only acceptable action. No action alternative has to be the way to go. But tonight I want to focus my testimony on the site as sacred place. What I want to testify to this evening is a Hawaiian linguistic ancestral memory. Hawaiian linguistic ancestral memory. Now, I'm not a linguist, but I looked it up, and that's what I want to do tonight. The reason I'm going that path is I want to try and help you understand the site's sanctity as a sacred place. And I believe we can all bear witness to it. I visualized the first kupuna to live in this place, the very first kanaka to live in this place. Olelo Hawai'i was their language. It's how they communicated. It's how they expressed their worldview. They also made treks up to the summit. And remember, they were the first human beings here. No one had ever gone through the forest like they had done. No human. And as they're going through the forest, they saw a little green bird flitting up in the canopy. And they said, I'm going to call that one Amakihi. And they saw a red bird with kind of black beak and a little bit of white. And they said, I'm going to call that one Apapane. The words came from those kupuna down to us. When we utter those words, it is an ancestral memory, keeping it alive. Then they continued on and they saw a scarlet red bird. Scarlet with a kind of an orange beak, and then they called it what? I think there's some ancestral memory going on here. Why is that place sacred? Because when a people share their worldview with their descendants, and on and on and on, they follow that ko'ihonua down to where we are today, we are a direct line to those very first human beings who helped us understand this place. Then imagine they get to the summit area. It's getting kind of dark, but a beautiful moon is shining. Pele is everywhere. Now, we all know that the word lava, L-A-V-A, that's not a Hawaiian word, right? Everybody understands lava is Italian. And that Pele is the word for molten rock. Lowercase p, uppercase p, goddess. Lowercase p, the molten rock. So when digging goes on in the Pele, you are digging into an aumakua. You are digging into a kupua. You are digging into an akua. Let's make no understanding. So our worldview is a little bit different than it's just, oh, that's lava. and I know that there's pahoehoe and there's and I'm going to dig into. No, you're going after an ancestor. And they're up there, and in that moonlight, they see a mind-blowing silver plant glowing in the moonlight. And they call that one Ahinahina. Beautiful. It's quiet. Quiet. The most quiet place they'd ever been. And it's cold. And they're resting and contemplating. Whoa! Whoa! The Hawaiian petrel comes flying in from its flight to Alaska, nonstop. The ua'u, the ahinahina, the apapane, the i'i, they're all in the kumulipo. They are mentioned as that thread that we hold on to. And the sound that ua'u makes is its name. It's onomatopoetic. Lovely. Over time, those creatures and the shared experiences became felted into the kapa that is our mauli, our life force, as kanaka mauli. Those names we just voiced as ancestral memory, amakihi, apapane, iiwi, ua'u, ahinahina, they ring out in our mele ko'ihonua, our cosmogonic creation chants. Those birds and those things that comprise the ecosystems of Hawaii are family to us. It helps with the confirmation, the rationalization when people say, that's a sacred space? Yes, it's a sacred, sacred place. They're part of our spiritual foundation. And when those first kupuna got back down, they agreed that the summit areas and everything therein must be sanctified. And they decreed at that point that they would be wahikapu, sacred places. And on their behalf, I will continue to oppose the desecration of the summit area of Haleakalā. I oppose it.
Mahalo, Uncle.
Aloha e yorana tātou. O wau tiare, moana, tahauri, wainerere, ko'ino. My name is Tiare Moana Tahauri Wainerere. And recently, well, it's been a while, but I moved from American Fork, Utah, back to my motherland. I want to tell you my story, my huakaia and journey, and how my connection to the Mauna and to Haleakalā and what it means to me. 3 years ago, I could not walk. I went to all the doctors. I was like a guinea pig. They tried to heal me, but no Western or conventional medicine would work for me. My na'au told me to come home. Sorry if I get a little emotional. I am a walking, breathing, living testimony. Part of my healing was going up to the Mauna Haleakalā. Trying to explain this to someone on the mainland was really difficult. They did not understand. People in Utah, they know what it means to stand in holy places, even when you have to stand alone. And part of that journey and protocol inside of me, I have the faith to heal myself. However, was given the opportunity to heal from this land. And I went to the Mauna to give my oli, to give my pule, and many other sacred places to gather Navai Eha. And while on the mountain praying, because it is a sacred holy place, I tried to find an area to keep to myself, but people were taking pictures of me. I'm just entertainment to them. Please understand that this Mauna here represents more than just a triangle. It's me, my ohana, my lineage. From Kaupo over to Kula is where my iwi lays, and Keakua at the top. And this is my connection and my healing journey. Please do not desecrate. Please do not force assimilation. Mahalo.
Number 49.
Aloha mai kako, uvao o present Kamehameha Pullman. My sister and I are direct linear descendants to the great George Helm. I'm a 9th grade Kaiapuni student at King Kekolike, and I stand here today as a young Kanaka to share what I've been taught, but also as a descendant of a Lahui that has carried the kuleana to protect our aina. I speak not just for myself, but for my kupuna and for the generations who will live with the impact of your decisions. Let me educate you. Haleakalā is not vacant land. It's not just a mountain on a map. It's a sacred ancestor. It's a place where our people pray, chant, and bury our loved ones. It's where we go to feel connected to our kupuna, to each other, and to Keakua. Long before telescopes were ever built, our ancestors were already studying the stars. They navigated across the Pacific using the sky. They understood astronomy in a way that was rooted in relationship, not control. For us Hawaiians, the summit isn't a platform for development. It's a place of ceremony, reflection, and identity. In 1893, our Hawaiian kingdom was illegally occupied without the consent of our people, and we are still under illegal occupation. Since then, decisions about our land have often been made for us and not with us. During World War II, Haleakalā was used by the U.S. military. On Ko'olawe, the U.S. military bombed our sacred island for decades. It took years of protest to stop it, and the land is still healing today. On Mauna Kea, telescopes were built even after many of our people said a'ole. In 2019, kupuna were arrested for protecting that mountain. Think about that. Our elders in handcuffs for standing on their own sacred land. As a teenager, I shouldn't have to fight battles that should have been resolved generations ago. Our aina isn't property, it's our home, our history, and our future. It sustains our bodies and our culture and our identity. When it's harmed, the pain doesn't stay in the land, it lives within us. Our ancestors were master navigators, astronomers. They read the stars without building on sacred summits. We aren't against science, we respect knowledge, but knowledge shouldn't come at the cost of indigenous identity. And if this is really good for humanity, then our voices on our sacred places should matter too. If someone built on your church or your family graveyard after you asked them not to, you call that progress? This fight did not begin with my generation. Our kupuna stood up first. Now that kuleana has been passed to us, my generation will live with the consequences of what you decide. But we will also continue to fight on. We will fight on because our aina is sacred. We will fight on because our identity is not negotiable. We will fight on because protecting Haleakalā is protecting who we are. We will stand firm as kia'i for our aina. We will not give up. We will not be silenced after we will remain committed to protecting our aina and respectfully fight on in Kapua Aloha. Please don't add another wound to Haleakalā. Let it remain sacred. Let it remain whole. Let it remain a place where young Hawaiians like me can stand, feel proud, and know our culture still matters. Protect the mauna, protect the aina, protect our future. As this Olelo No'ea reminds us, A'ohehana nui ke alu'ia. No task is too big when done together by all. Our Lahui will continue to stand together in protecting our sacred places. Mahalo nui loa.
Mahalo.
We're getting close to 9 p.m. 50.
Aloha. Ko Inoa with Mana Tahari Wilkins. The question is, why? Why would you guys put telescopes on top of our mauna that we live on or used to live on? Why? Just why? We are protesting not just for that, but you guys built all over our island, all over it. I can't stand it no more. Can't. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Number 51. Number 51. Mahalo.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Shale Loko Maikai Pukalani Borden. I stand before you as a kanaka iwi, born and raised on Molokai, now residing in Pukalani, Maui. I come with deep aloha and a strong sense of kuleana to speak in opposition to the proposed construction of the additional 7 telescopes on Haleakalā. Haleakalā is not just land. It is not an empty summit. It is sacred. It is our wau akua. It is the piko of our island, a place where our ancestors prayed, navigated, and connected to the heavens long before telescopes ever stood there. The very name, Haleakalā, House of the Sun, carries mo'olelo, genealogy, and identity. It is sacred to us. As someone raised on Molokai, an island that has fought tirelessly to protect its sacred lands and cultural resources, I was taught that we do not separate ourselves from the aina. Aina is our kupuna. It feeds us, holds our iwi, and carries our stories. Now living in Pukalani, in the shadows of Haleakalā, I feel that kuleana even deeply. Every day I see that mauna. Every day I am reminded that it is our kuleana to protect it. Haleakalā has already endured development. Multiple telescopes already occupy the summit. The cumulative impact to the fragile ecosystem, to cultural practices, to the spiritual integrity of that space cannot be ignored. Adding 7 more structures, particularly for military purposes, intensifies that impact. It is not simply about science versus culture. This is about overuse, overreach, overstaying your welcome, and the continued militarization of wahikapu without true, meaningful consent of from kanaka iwi. We must ask ourselves, at what point is enough enough? When do we say that preservation takes priority over expansion? Cultural impact cannot be mitigated by landscaping plans or access promises. Spiritual desecration cannot be offset by funding packages. Our kupuna entrusted us with the kuleana to malama aina. Kuleana is not a symbolic word. It is an obligation. It is our obligation as kanaka iwi. We are temporary stewards of this wahikapu for generations yet unborn. If we allow further industrialization of Haleakalā's summit, what are we teaching our keiki about our values, about respect? I urge you to deny the proposal for these 7 additional telescopes. Protect Haleakalā. Protect what remains of its sacredness.
honor the purpose, honor our people, our kupuna, whose mo'oku auhau are tied to this mauna. I'm finishing up. We are not against knowledge. We are not against the stars. Our kupuna, who are master navigators, who read the heavens, read the stars without concrete foundations and military infrastructure. We humbly ask that sacred spaces be respected and that development does not continue at the expense of our cultural survival. It is our kuleana to protect and preserve these wahipana for generations to come. Mahalo.
Mahalo. We are getting to the 9 o'clock hour. This will be our last testifier. We ask that everyone else please submit their testimony in writing. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Is it on? Thank you. My name is Dick Mayer. I'm a 58-year resident of Upcountry Maui. I'm a former professor at the college here in Maui and taught for 34 years teaching economics. I was also the vice chair of the Citizen Advisory Committee that put together the community plan for this area, which includes the summit of Haleakalā, and I'll be referring to that. The location of the proposed telescopes is within Maui's Makawao Pukalani Kula Upcountry Community Plan District. Consequently, the project is subject to the requirements of the community plan, and the final EIS must indicate how the telescope project will comply with the community plan. The County of Maui has in its county code provisions 2.80B, 0.03B, 30B. All agencies shall comply with the general plan and administrative actions by agencies, and they must conform with the general plan. And that includes the community plans, which are part of our general plan. And so that's a requirement that you will have to follow in preparing your EIS. So what does the community plan say with regard to this? It says, encourage federal, state, and county cooperation in the preparation of a comprehensive Haleakalā Summit Master Plan to promote orderly and sensitive development, which is compatible with the natural and native Hawaiian cultural environment of Haleakalā National Park. That's verbatim. And that's extremely important because you have not done that. This project has segmented itself, and that's another part of the environmental code. You cannot segment things. The entire top of the mountain has been taken over by the federal government, the national park, the FAA radio towers, the Inouye Solar Telescope, the military operations that are going on, and now you want to add another 1 acre of land, and you're trying to diminish it. It's only 1 acre, and these are small telescopes. The fact that they're small, the fact that it's only 1 acre, does not get away from the fact that you're segmenting the overall impact of federal activities on top of our mountain. And that's very important. And consequently, I'm going to ask you that the environmental documents that you prepare, your final statement, be very comprehensive and prepare and fund a master plan for the summit of Haleakalā that takes into account the cultural significance, the natural environment, the cultural things that are up there, the preservation of the holy sites that are up there. That should be part, and in fact, it should be done prior to the final EIS. There should be a comprehensive plan done in the proper manner that all master plans are done. And I urge you to do that and to follow those requirements.
Thank you, sir.
As a reminder, you have the ability to submit comments online. You have the ability to mail them in. You can also hand them in person as you do this. Thank you for your testimony. This hearing is closed at 9:06 p.m.
Aloha. O wau o daun kaupu loke o Haleakalā, Eleneki Matos. O kia ko'uaina hanau. Ke kuneo mamua o oko. Me ke kako o ole, I kukulu, e hiku, pa'a o nai ana na nui I ko mākou mauna kapu o Haleakalā. O keia inoa I kamahele o ko inoa. I ko inoa ia I ko o mau kupuna iau me ke ia. O wau ke keiki mua mai ko mako mau makua I hanau ia iau ma ke aina. My name's Dawn Ka'opu'oloke Eleneki Matos. I am from this aina of Maui. I was born here and I was given a name Ka'opu'oloke o Haleakalā, the rosebud of the house of the sun. And I am in opposition of building the 7 telescopes up on the Mauna. Now, many of my fellow Kanakas have protested and have shared their mana'o about the reasons as to why they oppose this opposition. And I just want to touch on a cultural perspective which Keopi Raymond had mentioned in his testimony. And that is coming from a lineage of kahuna la'alapa'au practices. It's a cultural practice that we have amongst our Hawaiian people. And as indigenous people around the world have many cultural practices, the practice of burying, we bury our keiki's navel or piko in sacred places and for many reasons. Particularly for me, Mauna o Haleakalā is a place in which many of our babies' umbilical cords were buried, which we consider our piko. The importance of that for us in a cultural perspective is that it symbolizes planting of the roots of our keikis so that in the land and in the community, thus they understand their connection, reaffirming their cultural connection to Hawaii, and particularly on our Mauna o Haleakalā to our aina here on Maui. So to keep our keikis connected to the land and our ancestors is the important reason why I oppose to the building. And I think in retrospect to many of our protesters, I want to say a kako'o their mana'o is very like a like, is very similar. And I just want to say that for the love of our aina, I wish they would choose another aina or mauna to build their telescopes. Me ke aloha nui.
Aloha mai, my name is Maydeen Iao. I live on the slopes of Haleakalā. What a blessing it is. I wanted to thank all the people that came out to testify, and even the ones that could not say anything because we ran out of time. And of course, I oppose any telescope. And I think what wasn't said was, how about an apology? Let's start with an apology. And no more 7 telescopes. In fact, remove the 6 that are up there right now for the desecration of this beautiful aina, of this beautiful sacred site that it is here. She is here within us. She is part of our heritage. She is part of us as a divine being of aloha. What a grace that we get to live upon her of Maui Nui. And I humbly ask you to reach into your hearts, to open up your space within here and hear each testimony that was brought forward from the keiki to the kupuna. And I stand with all my kupuna that are in the back of me and coming forward here right now. So thank you for listening, hearing, and feeling this moment for all of us who love this sacred aina. And with that, I say thank you for giving me this short moment in time to express how I feel. Aloha.
Aloha mai kākou, kaino ka maunu ko inoa mokupuni o Maui a Napoko Waihe'e. So my name is Kaino Kamau. I come to you as kanaka maole, as my kupuna would say. I am not regulated to the United States Code 42 subsection 11711, which says we are a native Hawaiian, which then depicts that we are United States citizens. And being that my ancestors protested against that, I continue that legacy and clear the narrative that I am a sovereign subject of Ko Hawai'i Aina, with all rights and privileges attached to that person. And I give my testimony as such, not from the viewpoints of the United States citizen, but from that of the past of my kupuna. So Haleakalā is like, how can we say it? It is who we are. Same thing as Mauna Kea. Same thing as all the other places here in Ko Hawai'i Aina. We are Aina. Aina is us. As the Howleys would say, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. So in that narrative, they already are relating that we are correct, that we are Aina. And being that we are Aina, anything that disturbs the Aina, our ancestors, inherently hurts us also. Physically, mentally, spiritually. Anything and everywhere that you can think of hurts us. The United States has a treaty with us, which is still standing from 1826, which is known as the Friendship, Commerce, and Navigation Treaty, which was reinstituted until 1875. So with all that being said, what they are doing is actually in opposition to that treaty. And being the legality that they made promises, and that being that we are still kanaka maole, as even in their state admissions act in subsection 19 states that they could not change our nationality. They didn't have the power to do that. So they couldn't change our nationality during statehood. And we are still kanaka maole. That means the Treaty of Commerce or the Treaty of Friendship, Commerce, Navigation still stands. So I hold them to that, and then whatever they are to do, they need to go and seek the knowledge from that treaty and go forward from there in a correct manner. Otherwise, legal action can be taken. We do have that right. I know our people are not ma'a to that yet, but we are moving in that direction. I'd like to thank our videographer for taking the time to, out of his busy time to be with us and to film this. I say this with much humility and aloha to my lahui, to the United States. Do what is right. That's all we ask. Mahalo nui. Aloha.